Hello, Steve White, Steve White's 89. Well, I finally watched episode 3 of Lois and... I keep wanting to say Lois and Clark, Superman and Lois. I was kind of surprised. It's good. Now, I almost forgot it because I'm not used to watching a weekly show anymore. I haven't watched a weekly show that I actually have enjoyed and wanted to watch for years. The last couple of years I've been watching Star Trek Discovery on a weekly basis just so I can review it so other people don't have to watch it. But I haven't actually watched a show that I enjoy for so long. I just forgot. So I just watched the episode now. It's like, is it Monday? Sunday. The Corona Zone. I have no idea what day it is anymore. And it was good. I had a couple little issues with it, but ultimately it was pretty good. Now, I guess I'm just going to sort of talk about each person's sort of story in the episode because it's so hard to try and remember all of what happens in the episode. But we start off with the Kents painting the house, having fun, being a family, and then Clark has to run off and stop a bridge from collapsing in China because that's Superman's day. And that was really well filmed. The effects were good. Superman gets to, look like a hero. It's nice. Then we find out that Superman can hear everything, and of course the boys are just learning about his powers, really. And they're like questioning him, like what do you listen to? Do you listen to us? And he sort of said, I don't. I can sort of tune out, and I just sort of hear when people are in danger, basically. I don't sort of listen to individual conversations and so forth, which wasn't entirely true. Because later on in the episode, when Jordan is being challenged by, what's his name? I've forgotten the name of the boyfriend. I can't even see. I can't read my own writing. I don't know why I bother writing notes. I can't even read it. Sean. Is it Sean? Whatever. Hot black guy boyfriend. He's basically in his face, challenging him, like, why are you always flirting with my girlfriend? He was talking to her, and then the guy saw it. And, of course, his eyes go red for a second. Jonathan is trying to break it up. You see his hand, clenching, and he's like, "Arr." And you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what can happen. You don't know how much power he's got, where this can go. He's already shot off lasers once. I mean, I think they're underestimated. I think there's a lot of emphasis on babying him and watching him because of his powers, and I think they're actually underplaying it. I think Superman should be a bit more worried. I think they all should be a bit more worried because he just has to get upset and he can literally shoot flame out of his eyes. And that's when Clark gets caught out because he shows up in the middle of it, in the middle of the hall, in the middle of fifth period. To save him, basically, and break it up. And that's when they realise he's been listening to them for a while. And, of course, they have a bitch fit. Now, earlier on in the episode, I forgot to mention, it's relevant now, Sarah is coming out of therapy, and the parents who are fighting, and some people pointed out, like, I watched a couple of reviews after I watched the episode because I didn't quite know how to understand a couple of things in the episode. I thought I need to see a few more reviews and work out who these characters are. And I watched Hill vs. Babyface, and he was saying how he liked the scene between Lana and Kyle because you see these two parents disagreeing, and you're left to sort of decide who you think is in the right or the wrong. It's not, you sort of see both point of views, and that's something this show is doing, showing both point of views of the story and the situations and the people, and it is pretty good because a lot of the CW shows are criticised with being very heavy-handed and opinionated and very one-sided and telling you who's right, who's wrong, and not really letting audiences think for themselves, which of course intelligent viewers resent. So this is sort of a bit of a theme of, there's some bratty teen moments, and about halfway through the episode I'm like, I've had a few reactions to bratty teen moments, and I'm like, like Sarah's really bitchy to her parents who are just asking how she is and concerned. The boys, have a bitch fit when they find out he's been listening to them like he wouldn't. I mean, if you had the power to observe your loved ones all the time and make sure they're in danger and okay, you would do that. I mean, So I was a bit annoyed by the bratty teenness, and we get about half an hour into the episode before Superman. I mean, they kind of front-loaded with the Superman scene with the bridge, but then after that, there's nothing for about 34 minutes, Superman-like. The rest is all family drama and Lois investigation. And I was sort of thinking, wow, they're really just gonna do this side of the family this episode. So he wants to he auditions for the football team because how this issue ends is that Clark basically says, I won't listen to you anymore. He has a talk with Lois. She points out how she nearly broke up with him when she found out he was listening to her, because apparently this is the thing he does. And like I said, if you had the power to do this, it would be very hard not to. So he just promised not to listen to them anymore, and they believed him. And then immediately Jordan took advantage of it, and he went and tried out for the football team, using his powers to get revenge on the football team because they've been bullying him ever since he kissed the guy's girlfriend, which I don't totally blame him for not being happy about that. I could have talked about it, but instead he's just throwing his weight around. Well, he gets his weight thrown back at him. I don't know any football terms. I can't use any. I'm a gay. I don't do the sports ball. I don't know anything about it, especially not the American football. All I know is they wear ridiculous padding that looks so funny. I mean, if you ever watch Australian Rules, it's just men smacking into each other. You don't have this gigantic comical looking armour. I forget how it looks because I don't watch football. Every now and again I see a football game, American, and it's like, yeah, it's just funny. So yeah, he is just throwing people around. So of course he's instantly on the team and he's like the head guy. They're like, okay, he's ruling the team. And the other guys start to respect him and they start to work with him and he starts to feel appreciated on some level. Now that wasn't the plan. The plan was revenge. And then he realises when he gets to confront the boyfriend, after he smacks him down and throws him like a bug, he basically apologises for kissing Sarah and says it wasn't cool, basically. I apologise. And I think some people misheard that because a couple of people thought he was telling the boyfriend to apologise to Sarah because at this point Sarah and him have broken up. So that ends well. He sort of becomes part of the team. Now Jonathan is initially threatened because now, his brother is overshadowing him with his powers. And he's like, look, if you're doing this because you really want to be there, I'm okay with it. But if you're just there, for revenge or whatever, basically this is my thing and you're stepping on it. He said, I actually feel part of it. I want to do this. So he sort of just accepts his brother's going to be part of the team and he's going to be playing second fiddle because his brother has superpowers. Now, I have real issues with this. How Clark could think he's going to manage this, how they allow this. It's sort of similar when, I think it was Sabrina, or was it Riverdale? I think it was Sabrina. There was a character who was exploiting superpowers to basically be on a football, on a team. I don't know, I can't remember what sport it was. Just to prove a point. It was a girl and she's trying to prove a point, and I sort of felt like that's kind of wrong. It's morally wrong. And how does Clark deal with it? He, since he's lost his job and now has nothing to do, he basically asked to become assistant coach, which, because he's basically not charging anything, he's doing it for free just to watch it over his son and have an excuse to, he shows up and he's watching the matches now, or the practice. And Jordan's kind of okay with it. So that's sort of the Clark side of the house done. Now Lois is still working on her story. She gets she sort of isn't getting very far with it. And the editor is like, well, we do little stories, that's what sells. So you might just have to write some stories, some little Smallville stories, because not every story is going to be like, saving the world. And then a woman walks in, Mrs. Powell, who actually she's played another character in Smallville, and she basically says, "My boy went missing when she was working for the big what was his name? God, I'm so bad today. The big bad property developer, basically Morgan Edge. Basically, some people have been going missing on the job, and she's like, I want to get this guy for this. So, of course, they jump on that. And not long after that, Lois's car blows up. And it's quite a good scene. I won't ruin it, because I can't imagine anyone watching this before watching the episode. But It's pretty funny. It's pretty good. The characters are working really well. All the characters are working really well. The show is really well written, and the character development is really good. And it does seem a lot more sophisticated than the stuff I have seen on the CW. I haven't seen all their shows. I've just seen a couple of seasons. So I'm going to dedicate myself to watching them in the near future, because I can't really talk about this show and criticize those shows without really knowing them really well. And I don't want to jump on the bandwagon of people who just trash them. So I'm actually going to commit to watching Batwoman season 1 and 2, and the rest of Flash, and all the other shows I've been neglecting. I've got most of them, I just haven't watched them. So they commit to working this out. Lois, and this is one part that was weak, Lois basically goes out in the middle of the night to meet up with a source. I'm like, that's going to go well. Of course she gets there, the source has been strangled and nearly killed, and there's this guy who apparently is called Subject 11, and he basically has Kryptonian powers. So Superman appears in a second, and they fight, and Superman gets his butt handed to him for a few seconds, and he's down. He gets up, he ends up winning, and then he has to run off and take Mrs. Power to the hospital, and then Subject 11 just disappears. And that also wasn't resolved quite as well as I would have liked. It's like, where did he go? It's like, Jason Voorhees goes away after the big fight, and it's like, you just, sit down and have a picnic? No, you want to work out where the villain is. So I felt like that sort of should have got a bit more attention. But yeah, that's sort of where that left off until the very, very end, which was the assistant, the one we saw before. Apparently she shows up there. This guy sitting in the car basically saying, yeah, I'm trying to work it all out, I'm working on it, blah, 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 because he's apparently there working for Morgan Edge. And the assistant just shows up in the middle of the road, and heat vision, lasers come out of her eyes, straight through the car window, and just burn him alive. And I'm like, isn't he Kryptonian? I don't know who this guy is. I don't really know. Apparently some sort of mutant, alien mutant or something. I don't know enough about Superman to really know some of the stuff that's happening in the show, which is why I watched a couple of other reviews, because I kind of needed a bit of help to work out who's who. Some people were saying this is the evil Supergirl. I don't think anyone really knows who she is, but I haven't watched Krypton. I didn't watch the end of Smallville. I didn't see any of the Superman episodes of Supergirl because I've only watched the first season, so I'm struggling a little bit with some elements and they probably shouldn't rely on any prior knowledge, so people like me can actually get the show, but I'm going to do a bit of work and watch those shows and catch up. So yeah, I liked the episode. I was a bit worried, like I said, it got to about 34 minutes before I was just looking at the clock, and I'm like, wow, isn't it? It's like 34 minutes something in, and we're just getting Lois go off and like an investigation. I'm like, is this going to be just a Scooby-Doo episode with some family drama? I'm like, okay, I guess we can't have superpower fights every episode. And then 2 minutes later, she's attacked and Superman is there throwing this guy through walls. I'm like, okay, they just spread them out a bit. So the moral issues were interesting. They were given to us, and we got to think about them and decide. I think it's kind of a little bit wrong to let him be on the team with his superpowers, because it is unfair on all the others. But at the same time, I get that Clark is watching, and Clark explained that, look, I missed out on playing baseball. I wasn't allowed to. My dad wouldn't let me. I resented it my whole life. I don't want you to miss out on that. And because he doesn't have full powers like Superman, he can't really hurt anyone. And that's another issue. What sort of powers does he have? Like, even if he only has a percent of Superman's powers, he has an obvious edge in every way against these other team members, and there's a lot of issues there. But I guess that's the point of a drama show, to explore and exploit these sort of issues for drama. So it's looking good. I'm really enjoying the nuance of the characters, all the little moments, the little laughs, like when because Sarah, I did sort of mention Sarah and Lana had a big fight, and she's desperately hovering and in fear because Sarah tried to kill herself a year or so ago. And she's like, she sits down and she says, look, they've already had a big fight, which was just, she totally read her mother in front of everyone in the cafe, and half the town's going to know what she said, and there's problems in her relationship, and the kids are not doing well, having problems, all this. And eventually it calms down. She just comes in her room, has a heart-to-heart talk, and she explains why. She said, I just need to know why. I can't stop worrying until I know you're okay, and why, and I need to trust that you will tell me. So she explains to her why she did it and says, I will tell you, I won't do anything like that again. I'll tell you before, when something's happening or something's wrong. And it's quite a good scene. I mean, the actress is quite good, and I'm not going to say I got misty or cried or anything, but whatever. So yeah, that was resolved. But they're really doing a good job of giving the characters their own perspectives, their own views. We get to see everyone's sort of perspective, and it's really good. We're seeing both sides through a lot of the arguments. Kyle still, I think, is a bit of a redneck douche, but we sort of understand why. So yeah, I'm really enjoying the show. I'm really surprised how good it is, how different it is from a lot of the other shows I've been seeing lately. I kind of forgot what it was like to have a good show. When Lana and Sarah had their little fight at the cafe, she was pretty rude to Clark. And then when she saw him later, she explained. And okay, so one of those little moments I enjoyed that I meant to mention. After Sarah and Lana have their fight at the cafe, she's fairly rude to Clark, and when he sees her later, they're talking, and she says, "Oh, can you walk?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he says, "Oh, I left my car keys in the car." And he's like, "It's Smallville. I don't have to worry about it." Little jokes like that, and when Lois is in trouble with something, there's a good joke there. I'm not going to actually say it, just on the very odd chance one person watches this before. This is funny, but yeah, I enjoyed the show. It's good. I kind of forgot what a good show was like. I haven't really watched anything sort of even-handed and sophisticated for a while. Most shows I've been seeing lately have been very soap opera, dramatic, over the top, just dramatic, earth-changing events. I've been watching too much Star Trek Discovery, and I've forgotten what good writing is like, and strong characters and nuanced characters and development has been like. So it's just been a treat. So I really enjoyed the first 3 episodes. I think they're going to have 2 more, and then they're taking a break, and then they're going to come back with, they're going to have Supergirl the last season, and then they're going to come back after that with the rest of the season. So it's a bit of a kick in the head to get 5 episodes, and then we're going to have 2 months off, and then we have to wait to come back. But the show is doing good. I'm just really happy, and I just wish this would happen with Star Trek. They'd just do another show. No one had any hope for this show because people had so many problems with Supergirl and Batwoman, and this show is great. This is what I'm hoping happens with Strange New Worlds. I'm hoping it somehow manages to be a good show. It can happen. I'm being optimistic. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Feel free to even ding the bell. It does help. I'd like to grow my channel. But yeah, I'm going to go. Thanks. Bye.